brand visibility and that traditional Web2 marketing can be extremely useful. But I think, as we've seen with some of the big companies that just throw a logo, it doesn't necessarily correlate to ROI or conversion or anything. It's cool to have, and you see it with a lot of the exchanges. They have a lot of liquidity, and but yeah, just because FTX had the FTX Arena didn't mean that it was a great. I mean, it got visibility, but it was
right. Worked too well for them.
Yeah.
And then didn't work very quickly.
Serotonin does a multitude of things. I think our official tagline is bringing the world's breakthrough technologies to market.
Okay.
So traditionally, a lot of people might know serotonin for its services side, which is marketing, press. We've got an incredible press arm. And now we also do consultancy. So brands or companies that are looking to get into the Web3 space but might not necessarily know how to execute. Also, we've got a legal arm and recruitment too.
Okay, cool.
So there's a lot of different things we do. And then what I work on is the Serotonin platform.
I'm a member of the Serotonin platform. It's great. There's some really cool members in there. You guys are doing a really good job. Services like Serotonin are really cool because you're helping companies that are interested in Web3 do it right. Like what kind of companies are you speaking to? Is there like a specific sector that stands out? Brands?
So we've got kind of our typical legacy clients, people like PayPal. But we've also got newer companies that are maybe in the AI space, in the deep end space, companies that are just looking for that visibility where we can, offer pitching to various media companies, etc. But I'd say it really spans a wide range. We've now expanding massively into the APAC region. We've been hiring for a number of roles, lots in India, lots in Japan, Korea, Hong Kong. We've got a big team now, or a growing team. And we're finding a lot of these APAC focused companies, maybe even traditional banking companies that want to get into the space. So it's such a range, which is really exciting because it shows the appetite for the Web3 ecosystem and just Web3 solutions within the world.
It does feel, it's such a cliche to say, but it does feel like it's a bit different this time round.
Sure.
It's exciting. We've been banging this drum at Alchemy for 4 years and we're seeing it, I guess, similarly, because I think Alchemy plays a similar role to Serotonin in some degree. We kind of focus on digital marketing specifically, but we are also, by the sounds of it, seeing the same kind of interest from brands that are like, okay, I'm seeing this in the news now. There's getting a lot more adoption just from like the mainstream financial markets. Like, how could we apply this to what we do? And it's cool to see that happening everywhere. I think you guys definitely come at it from more of like a Web3 angle, not to say that a blockchain based ad exchange isn't Web3, but like with Web3 marketing, you have like, we're sponsoring a Formula One team.
Yes.
Or we're working with KOLs and Twitter and direct response. There's like less of that brand building that happens in the middle. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could correct me, but I don't see so much of that.
I think that's interesting you call that Web3 marketing, because I would call that almost Web2 marketing for Web3 companies, right? Web3 marketing is things like we see, maybe more growth marketing, things like, we working very closely with Spindle, that kind of on-chain real data using kind of wallets and data insights to inform, I guess, how we advertise, target people and run these campaigns. So I would say that's more using the Web3 mechanics to market rather than just sponsorship.
But yeah, I think it's the work that Spindle doing is really interesting. I think that there's Spindle, there's like Cookie 3 addressable. It reminds me of the early days of like Google Analytics.
Yeah.
So it's like, people like, do you want a website? Yeah, I do. And then like, do you want to know who comes to your website? It's like, yeah, I do want to know that. And I think that's comparable to like, do you want a token? Like, yeah, I do want a token that's really useful for what I want to do. And then like, do you want to know exactly who your token holders are? And I think that encourages me because that's the specifically for how we'd want to work with Web3 brands in the future. If they know who their audiences are and they're looking to find them elsewhere, that's really how a cookie works, right? It's like, we know our audience logged in here and viewed these websites, so we're going to look for that cookie on other websites and try and show them the right message at the right time. And I think it will be interesting to see how, I talk about this a lot, but Web3 wallets get more adopted. You start using them in more places. I saw Wallet Connect have rebranded. I can't remember exactly what to, I should know. And it's now more of like a single sign-on, so you can just like log in with a social, and then it creates a wallet for you that's non-custodial, and then you can upgrade it to custodial, but like that is then quite a nice...
Just the byproduct of signing in.
Exactly right, but that is what Google did really well. So like Google know, because you log in everywhere with Google at the moment, so then they can retarget you with ads really nicely.